We will now have a rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner, sung by Matthew Chen, Austin Nee, Lauren Caskey, and Emily Kim, students at Lowell High School in San Francisco. At this time, I ask that everyone please rise for the singing of our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, singers. You may all be seated. On behalf of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, congratulations. It is my honor to welcome you to your naturalization ceremony. Taking the oath of allegiance and embracing United States citizenship is a remarkable act of patriotism for those who choose to make a permanent commitment to the United States. Today, in taking the oath of allegiance to support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, you have gained important new rights and responsibilities, along with ownership of America's future. I am confident that your spirit and dedication will contribute to the continued prosperity, strength, and well-being of our nation, and together, we will make it through what has been the last few years of COVID and everything else. Again, congratulations to each of you. And now let us proceed with the ceremony. I first would like to take a moment to acknowledge some of our distinguished guests. Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, Representative for California's 11th Congressional District and former Speaker of the House of Representatives. Magistrate Judge Lisa J. Cisneros with the United States District Court, Northern District of California. Christopher Bedford, Helen and Charles Schwab, Director of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. Anupa Bajwa, Supervisory Computer Engineer at the NASA Ames Research Center. Maria Castro, Assistant Curator of Painting and Sculpture at the SF MoMA. Joseph Hamilton, Acting Deputy District Director for District 42 with USCIS. Richard Valleca, Field Office Director at the San Francisco Field Office. And finally, members of the communication teams at both the SF MoMA and USCIS. And a special thank you to USCIS leadership for their support in hosting special naturalization ceremonies within the community. It is my pleasure to welcome to the podium the Helen and Charles Schwab, Director of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, Christopher Bedford, who will be providing some welcoming remarks. Mr. Bedford.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thank you to the extraordinary young people for that amazing rendition of the national anthem. I think it gave everybody in here goosebumps, so thank you. I can say I'm truly honored and humbled to be here with you today. And we talk a tremendous amount in the museum field about the need to foster spaces of belonging and inclusivity for all community, all people to enjoy art and be elevated by it. And I can think of no occasion more emblematic of that aspiration than this one. I don't think I've been more awed by Diego Rivera's mural in my life, so I have all of you to thank for the opportunity to sit here for an hour and stare at the masterpiece. I also think it's worthy of note that not everybody is naturalized to the United States with such an amazing mural to stare at as you do it. We're standing here in the midst of a very large museum of modern and contemporary art. We're here to serve our public. That's our purpose. Our feeling is that the art is for all. I hope you feel that as you enter this space. And I hope as incoming citizens of this country, you'll also view yourselves as patrons of this museum. As a modest token of that, we're offering each of you 2 free passes to the museum that you can use at any time. Hundreds of thousands of square feet of art for you to enjoy. A modest token of our congratulations for the step you're taking today. Diego Rivera, I think, is a particularly apt backdrop for this moment. This is a mural that meditates on questions of migration, identity, belonging, innovation, progress, in obviously a profound language and on a profound scale. Diego Rivera was not absent dexterity as an artist, and he also wasn't absent ego. So I think this would be a perfect moment in his conception. On a very personal note, I'll say, and you may have detected that I am not myself American-born. And in fact, a resident alien of this great country and have been for a long time. My family has been urging me to take the step you're taking for a long time, and I think this is my tipping point. So I have to thank you for that incentive. Finally, before I leave the podium and make the way for our very distinguished speakers, I do want to thank those people who have made the time today to speak with you all. First of all, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, it's such a tremendous honor to have you in our building. Thank you for all you've done. NASA aerospace engineer Anupa Bajwa, who is sitting next to me, thank you for being here. Magistrate Judge Lisa J. Cisneros, also, thank you for your time today. As well as Ellen Jenkins, who is so adroitly shepherding us through this morning as our MC. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ellen. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Bedford. Thank you for acknowledging this beautiful piece of art behind me. It's breathtaking. I could not imagine a better space for a ceremony. Now it is my pleasure to welcome to the podium Joseph Hamilton, Acting Deputy District Director of District 42 within USCIS. District 42 consists of field offices in San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, and Fresno, with a jurisdiction that spans from Bakersfield. Mr. Hamilton, welcome to the podium.
Thank you very much, Section Chief Ellen Jenkins. Good morning, future citizens, friends and families, and honored guests. As Ellen had just mentioned, I am appearing on behalf of United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. It is my distinct privilege to introduce the Honorable Lisa J. Cisneros, Magistrate Judge for the United States District Court for the Northern District of California. United States Magistrate Judge Lisa J. Cisneros joined the court following 15 years of practice as a litigator and attorney in government and public service. Prior to taking the bench, Judge Cisneros served as a Deputy Attorney General for the California Department of Justice. She represented the state of California and its agencies in complex affirmative and defensive litigation, primarily in the federal trial and appellate courts. Judge Cisneros began her career as a legal aid attorney at California Rural Legal Assistance, Inc. She also worked in private practice and was appointed by the governor as a member of the California Fair Employment and Housing Council, where she promulgated regulations and conducted hearings. Judge Cisneros earned her law degree from the UC Berkeley School of Law and her undergraduate degree with honors from Brown University. Judge Cisneros' grandfather was an engineer and physics professor, and her mother was a medical doctor. She has a deep appreciation for those who enter the fields of science and engineering. May I please introduce Judge Lisa J. Cisneros. Your Honor, I am delighted to present to you 36 applicants for naturalization from 17 different countries of origin. Each applicant has been examined by an officer of USCIS. Each applicant has been found to be eligible for naturalization and eligible to be administered the oath of allegiance pursuant to Section 337 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Pursuant to Section 310B of the Immigration and Nationality Act, you are authorized to administer the oath of allegiance. Your Honor, USCIS now comes before you to move that all 36 applicants be naturalized. Thank you. Judge Cisneros.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Congratulations. It brings me great joy, and it is a tremendous honor to be here with you today in this milestone in your life. I'd like to start by asking the candidates to rise by nationality, starting with Belarus. Please stand. Canada. China. Denmark. France. India. Iran, Ireland, South Korea, Nigeria, the Philippines, Poland, Russia, St. Vincent's and the Grenadines, Taiwan, United Kingdom, and Vietnam. Wonderful. So please raise your right hand, and we'll do the oath. Thank you. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or a citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Thank you. You are now American citizens. Congratulations. Please wave your flags. Thank you so much. Wow, what a moment. I'm so happy for you. I have so many beloved family members and friends who've reached the same milestone, and I wish you the best in the next chapter of your life as American citizens. I have the great pleasure of introducing our first keynote speaker, Anupa Bajwa, Supervisory Computer Engineer for NASA Ames Research Center. Dr. Bajwa leads the Discovery and Systems Health Tech area in the Intelligence Systems Division at NASA's Ames Research Center. During her 25 years at NASA Ames, she has led the development of autonomous systems for air and space to enable resilient aerial vehicles, launch vehicles, orbiters, and rovers. Dr. Bajwa earned her doctorate in aerospace engineering from Penn State University. Her bachelor's degree is from the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, and her master's degree is from Ohio State University. She holds a certificate in corporate innovation from Stanford's Graduate School of Business. I congratulate Dr. Bajwa on an incredible career, and thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you, Judge Cisneros. Hello, everyone. Happy International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Yeah. I'm so honored to be here to witness this naturalization ceremony for all of you amazing US citizens, the newest faces of America. In this beautiful venue where modern and contemporary art urges us to explore the meaning and impact of art in modern life, in public life. Art is for all, right? And I urge that science is for all as well. I would like to use a few minutes similarly to share the impact of NASA's science and technology on public life. As we speak, NASA's orbiting Earth observatories are gathering data for damage assessment from the massive earthquake in Syria and Turkey. By using synthetic aperture radar technology, they can collect data day and night to provide crucial information for relief efforts. Other Earth-observing spacecraft are mapping our global forests, rivers and lakes, ocean currents, and weather patterns. Data on fresh water is particularly important because even in 2023, 200 million hours are spent every day in accessing drinking water. I just learned this factoid last week, and I had to stop and think. 200 million hours a day to access drinking water. Water, the very stuff of life. On the International Space Station, our orbiting laboratory, we are testing closed-loop life support systems, and which includes water recycling technologies. We are preparing to explore other worlds for the presence of subsurface ice and water on our moon and on the red planet Mars. And our space telescopes, Hubble and James Webb, are opening our eyes to the vast expanse of this universe, how it began and where it's headed. And for modern life, right, our heliophysics space observatories are watching out for incoming space weather that can disrupt modern life, which is so reliant on global satellite networks for communication, navigation, and mapping. Did you know that in 1990s, NASA's Whirlwind software for satellite data mapping was adopted for Google Earth? We are proud to continue to share our technologies to support the economic vitality of our nation. The first A in NASA stands for aeronautics. Indeed, we're helping CAL FIRE develop and test unmanned aerial vehicles for firefighting. We're developing quiet supersonic transport aircraft and green aviation technologies with our commercial partners. With our open government initiative, the federal government agencies continuously inform the public about the impact of our work and how we measure progress. It was the federal government's previous decades of investment in foundational medical research that helped provide COVID vaccines. The state of government research is strong, and we need scientists like you. Some of my most rewarding evenings were spent at science fairs as a volunteer judge. The energy and motivation of our young scientists is truly inspiring. Another source of inspiration is the work done here at USCIS. A few years ago, I was here on an exchange program. I was immersed in the daily workings of the Immigration and Naturalization Services, and I admired the tireless efforts of the officers and the executives to meet the demand and to modernize the process. I took up an additional opportunity to perform work of national importance as a field enumerator in the 2020 census. This was during the pandemic and during the orange sun from the California wildfires. I got to know my local neighborhoods and the demographics of my high-tech city. It inspired me to volunteer to serve on the housing element working group in my city. We identified over 6,000 potential new housing units that can be built to accommodate growth. I'm grateful to give back to my adopted country. She has allowed me to explore unlimited possibilities, and the best is yet to come. Welcome, citizens. Go forth and build your trusted, diverse teams. Include everyone. Create, collaborate, and contribute. And generously share your time, treasure, and talent. The best is yet to come, and the sky is not the limit. Thank you.
Our next keynote speaker, Maria Castro, has had a tremendous career in the arts. She is the Assistant Curator of Painting and Sculpture here at San Francisco Modern Museum of Art. Ms. Castro holds a PhD in the history of art and architecture from the University of Pittsburgh, and she specializes on modern and contemporary art of the Americas. Her most recent projects here at the museum include organizing the exhibition Amalia Mesa Baines, Venus Envy, Chapter 1, and Madrinas y Hermanas, Godmothers and Sisters, co-curating Pan-American Unity, a mural by Diego Rivera, and the presentation of the museum's permanent collection on the second floor, in addition to contributing to a major survey of Diego Rivera's. Thank you for your incredible contributions here in San Francisco.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. I was asked to join you today to speak really briefly about the artwork that we're sharing the room with here. It's a mural by Diego Rivera titled Pan-American Unity, and it's on loan to SF MoMA from City College of San Francisco. In many ways, it's a very appropriate object to witness today's events, because it's a work that's really about how dialogue and collaboration across borders and nations enriches our experiences of the world. If you aren't familiar with Rivera, he was one of the most influential Mexican artists of the 20th century. And through his public artworks in both Mexico and the US, he helped to establish mural painting as an important tradition of socially engaged art. This mural behind me was actually painted here in the Bay Area on Treasure Island over the summer and fall of 1940 as part of that year's Golden Gate International Exposition. Rivera had been invited to be the headliner of an ambitious exhibition called Art in Action, in which artists created works in front of live audiences. So people from across the city were actually able to go to Treasure Island and watch as Rivera painted this monumental work. The mural is made up of 10 separate panels to make it movable, but altogether it measures an incredible 22 by 74 feet and weighs more than 60,000 pounds. Pan American Unity presents art and creativity as essential human activities. Throughout its surface, you can see images of people creating, paintings and sculptures, but also ceramics, metalwork, embroidery. The protagonists of Rivera's vision of Pan American Unity are artists, inventors, architects, scientists, workers, and makers of all types. Although there's a lot of celebration here, Rivera was working in a time of conflict. As he was painting in the summer of 1940, World War II was underway in Europe. In this historical context, Rivera used his public platform to issue a call for unity and collaboration across the Americas, which he believed would be a crucial defense against the threat of fascism. So on the right end of the mural, Rivera painted idealized scenes combining the art and architecture of pre-conquest civilizations in Mexico. There he depicts art, science, and technology that existed in the Americas before colonialism. If you look at the top right, you'll see the colorful body of the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl, emerging from a pyramid and weaving through to culminate just to the right in a great sculpted head. Just below it, Rivera portrays himself in a denim shirt as he's in the act of painting a mural featuring the leaders of independence movements in the Americas. Now, if you look all the way to the far left end of the mural, Rivera turns our attention to the United States with scenes of industry, mining, and agriculture in Northern California. Here, it's a long mining conveyor belt that snakes through the landscape. And then at the center of the mural, just behind me, a towering hybrid figure combines part of a stone sculpture of the Aztec goddess Coatlicue with industrial machinery, synthesizing Rivera's vision of a union between art and technology, of a past and present shared across North America. To either side of the figure, Rivera paints a panorama of the San Francisco Bay, including major landmarks. You can see the Bay Bridge to the right and then Treasure Island to the left. Connecting both ends of the mural, it's here in San Francisco that Rivera's message of solidarity across borders comes together. Thank you.
And finally, I'm going to introduce our last keynote speaker, who really needs no introduction, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, who served as our 52nd Speaker of the House of Representatives after having made history in 2007 when she was elected the first woman to serve as Speaker. Speaker Pelosi made history again in January 2019 when she regained the speakership, the first person to do so in more than 6 decades. In 2013, she was inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame. Emerita Speaker Pelosi has represented San Francisco for over 35 years. She's been a powerful voice for human rights around the world, and she comes from a strong family tradition of public service. Speaker Pelosi. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And it is a good morning when we are here to celebrate new citizens. 2 wonderful words, new citizens. Congratulations to each and every one of you, and that we are doing so on International Day, what are we calling it, Women in Science. International Women and Girls Day in Science. In science, isn't that remarkable? Let me join the director of the museum in saluting Lowell High School for the beautiful rendition of our national anthem. We started with art, the singing of our anthem, the beautiful film showing citizenship, naturalization services around the country, and here we are in a museum to celebrate each and every one of you. It's a happy day for our country. I'm particularly excited about the fact that it's women in STEM, because the opportunities are so great there, and your diversity that you bring to that subject is so essential. Thank you, Ms. Jenkins, for bringing us together here, and It's an honor to be with each and every one of you and how remarkable you all are. But let me just say a couple things. Director Bedford, it's an honor always to be in the museum. I was here the day we dedicated it years ago. I was here again to speak when we had the Fisher expansion, and now here today with the expansion of our citizenship in our country, a very special day indeed. To the new citizens, may I say that although we're celebrating STEM, in San Francisco we call it STEAM, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics. And that's why it's so appropriate that we are here. Because as you see, the arts can tell the story in such an important way. You are an inspiration to us, and as your story is told, that is an inspiration to our country. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Dr. Bajwa, when you were speaking, I was remembering being at the launching of Artemis at NASA, and that is the Women in Space initiative. So there's so much opportunity for you, expanded by President Biden's our CHIPS and Science Act. What you should know about that, I want you to take home about that, is that the chips part, we needed to make chips in America. We all know that. But the science, that's about now. The science part is about now and the future. How we would bring more diversity into the thinking on how we develop our science. How we have previously underrepresented personalities making those decisions. That's you. That's women. That's women from different parts of our world and our culture now. So see that as an opportunity. You'll hear from President Biden shortly in that regard. But I take great pride in that because it's about everything that he has done. It's about diversity, inclusivity, including many more people, and that means you. We have a saying among our women in Congress that there's nothing more wholesome than the increased participation in women in any field, government in our case, science, business, education, the arts, and the rest. Nothing more wholesome than the fuller participation of women. And we believe patriotically in our country that when women succeed, America succeeds. So in many ways, our hopes are riding on you and the new, fresh, new citizens that you are, the oath that you took, and listening very carefully to the words. I hope that even when not required by law, you will be making your contribution in the private sector, the nonprofit sector, and the rest. Immigration is what we're celebrating here today. And the most inspiring words for me, up until now, there has been a nonpartisan venture. Priority, determination. And now we have some debates about immigration. But let me quote, and I'm going to read this because I want you to hear the exact words. These are the words of President Ronald Reagan. This was his last speech as President of the United States. And he said this. He said, "This is the last time I will speak as president, and I want to communicate a message to the country I love." And this was his message. The torch of Lady Liberty symbolizes our freedom and represents our heritage. The compact with our parents, our grandparents, and our ancestors is that it is that lady who gives us our great and special place in the world. For it is the great life force of each generation of new Americans, that's you, that guarantees that Americans' triumph shall continue unsurpassed into the next century and beyond. Other countries may seek to compete with us, but in one vital area, as a beacon of freedom and opportunity that draws the people of the world, no country on earth comes close, he said. This, I believe, is one of the most important sources of America's greatness. We lead the world because, unique among nations, we draw our people from every country and every corner of the world. Thanks to each new wave of new arrivals to this land of opportunity, we are a nation forever young, forever bursting with energy and new ideas, always on the cutting edge, always leading the world to the next frontier. This quality is vital, he said, to our future as a nation. Remember this line, Ronald Reagan. If we ever close the door to new Americans, our leadership in the world would soon be lost. Ronald Reagan, last speech as President of the United States. So know your power in our country, the vitality, the constant reinvigoration of America, of new people coming, with your hopes, your optimism, your dreams, your courage, your determination. Those are American traits, and your presence here makes America more American. So I thank you for that. Getting back to the arts, when I was watching that film earlier, I was reminded of a film my daughter Alexandra did, Citizen USA, where she went to every state in the nation and did a film on each naturalization ceremony. And it not only presented the beautiful diversity of our newcomers, but it also showed the beautiful diversity of America and how people were welcomed throughout the country. I think this is one of the most magnificent because it's about the women, it's about science and the future. It's in the Museum of Modern Art, a place, again, that recognizes the connection between art and science, and again, takes us to our patriotism. I know you will always, as I as an Italian American, always take great pride in your heritage, where you came from, your source of pride. But I know that you will also be fiercely patriotic and love America for what you bring to America. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Congratulations. And I just want to tell you that your voice is your vote. The San Francisco Department of Elections here to register new citizens to vote if you wish. And they're giving out these pins. Your vote is your voice. So thank you for making America more American. Congratulations to you and to your families. Thank you.